Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today, I think we're gonna do another episode of like a TBR takedown. I don't remember the last time I did this. It's been months and months and months. TBR takedown obviously just means we're gonna really try to tackle my physical TBR and essentially focus on my June TBR, which if you haven't seen my TBR jar chooses my June TBR video, go watch that first because that'll give you a rundown of kind of like all of the main options for today's video. First, I wanted to talk about the first book we're going to be starting with, and that is Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry. I'm very, very excited to read this. I did start it this morning, but I'm literally only like 3 chapters in, I think. Yeah, so I've read 16 pages, so not enough to really tell me much, but this book I did put on my June TBR, and I really wanted to pick this one up first because I just came off of reading Releasing 10, and if you know anything about this book, it is extremely dark and heavy. So I needed something completely different. I needed to distract myself after the spiral of emotions that was this book. I did not vlog reading this because I wanted to fully binge it, absorb it, and not really have to take breaks to like give updates or show my reactions or anything like that, because I knew that I was going to be wholly sucked in by this book, and I definitely was. This one was much darker and heavier than all of the other ones. Like, if you know anything about this series, you know that these are hard books to read, but you love the characters so much and you just want to see them happy, and you fall in love with the characters and the world and the found family. And so that's why we read these books, right? Like, if you're a fan of Boys of Tom, you totally know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of stuff going around right now about this book, and I've seen a lot of really hateful things said about the author, and that just makes me so sad. I'm not going to really get into it because it's a whole thing, but just know that I wholly support Chloe and the telling of her story and her experiences that she's put into this book. Like, I believe that the author should be able to tell their story in their own way, right? And Chloe has come out and she has said that a lot of the things that are in this book, like, she has personally gone through. And so I'm here for her. I support her. I gave this book a 5 stars solely because this entire series is like a 5-star, 6-star God tier series for me. And it's really too hard for me to like rank them all. And I base my rating of this not on my enjoyment, because I can't really say that I enjoyed this. It was really hard to read. I respect it and I'm honoring it, and emotions that it brought out of me, like even just thinking about it, like I'm gonna choke up. The emotions that it brought out of me, and it's just, I've been thinking and ruminating for days and days about this, so it can only be a 5 stars. Any book that can make me feel that viscerally emotional is a 5 stars. Now, I don't outwardly like recommend this series unless you are mentally able to handle them, and I do highly recommend, like, definitely look up the trigger warnings, do your own research. At the end of the day, it is the reader's responsibility to protect their own peace. Like, going into the series, like, I already knew this was gonna be heavy. I was looking up reviews. You can look up specific trigger warnings if you want to, but just know that these are hard to read, and especially this one. Anyways, I'm just gonna leave it at that, but coming off of this, I really needed, oh my God, I'm getting my sweat everywhere. Like, I sound like Larry when I do that. I love Larry. Anyway, let's not mind that. So we are gonna go straight into this book because we need a different vibe. I don't think this is gonna be like light and fluffy, but like, we need something totally different to distract me from the pain that was Releasing 10. We are gonna be reading Shield of Sparrows in this vlog. Like I said, I'm only 3 chapters in, so I don't have much to say. Although I will say the beginning of this is already kind of reminding me a little bit of the beginning of A Fire in the Sky by Sophie Jordan. Only because, like, the female main character, like the similarities between them with like being kind of troublesome, not being where they're supposed to be. Like, this book literally starts out with our female main character, what is her name? I don't know, I don't remember yet. But anyway, our female main character is supposed to be somewhere, like at this like meeting. The Tura are coming, which are these like warriors, which again, that reminds me of the beginning of A Fire in the Sky. And everyone's like, don't be late, like, because she's usually late to things apparently. And she's like, oh, let me just jump off this cliff real quick. Let's just go cliff diving real quick into the ocean. And then she like shows up sopping wet, and her stepmother's like so mad at her. So anyway, that kind of reminds me a little bit of that other book, and I loved A Fire in the Sky. So I'm getting good vibes from this already, although it's too early to say because we're like 16 pages in. So I will be reading more of this today. And then another book that I'm kind of looking at reading soon that's not technically on my June TBR, but like it's a new release, so we're gonna put it on the June TBR, is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, again because I need more of like light, fluffy comfort reads going into June. I'm very excited about this. I completely forgot that this book came out on the exact same day as Releasing 10, and so when I went to go get Releasing 10, I picked this up because Ali Hazelwood is an auto-buy author for me, and I've been hearing nothing but good things about this one. It follows Maya Kilgore, which I think we're gonna get some really good character cameos in here. There is an age gap, and that's all I really need to know, and it's set in summer, so I'm very, very excited to get into this. I love this cover, by the way. It's like very different from Ali's other covers, but yeah, that's the plan. It's a Sunday, I do need to go get some of like my weekly planning done, and it's June 1st. Happy June, by the way. I cannot believe that it's June. It's basically summer. So I do need to go do like my monthly planning and stuff like that. I will catch you guys when I have an update on Shield of Sparrows. Good morning. I wanted to get on and do a little update of Shield of Sparrows. I love how I showed this as if like the cover is on this. I have been going back and forth reading the physical copy and then on the Kindle because that hardcover is pretty heavy. I got my coffee and I've been reading a little bit this morning. I've only gotten a couple chapters in so far this morning, but I am on chapter 20, which is like 33% in. I'm really enjoying this so far. It's really giving me kind of like classic, I want to say classic fantasy, but like, I don't know, classic romantasy, I guess. Like I said in the last clip, in my last update, the beginning definitely reminds me a little bit of A Fire in the Sky, minus like the dragons and stuff. I don't know, there's just like something similar about the beginnings of both of these books. But like I said, I'm enjoying it. So far we've had a sea journey, a horseback journey. I always love books like that where it's like we are traveling really far across the lands from one place to the next. And this whole book so far has been like she's traveling, right? And they just got to a town and it's a really cool town. I'm not gonna like give anything away or give any specifics just in case you want to experience this on your own, but it's just really fun. And I think I know who the love interest is. To me, it's pretty obvious, but I could be wrong because sometimes authors like to try to make something seem obvious and then be like, no, actually this other random guy is the love interest. So we'll see, but I'm pretty sure I know who it's gonna be. I've had some ideas and theories as I've been reading as to where this might be going, what might be happening with like the romance or whatever. For the most part, I'm just along for the ride and I'm really enjoying it. I mean, there's nothing else I really have to say yet. Like I said, I'm 30% in, so we still have quite a bit of book to go, but I wanted to give a quick update before I go back to reading for the day. Today is Monday. I definitely have stuff to do. Oh, I have check-ins, I have client check-ins, I probably should do some laundry and some house chores, and then I'm filming this reading vlog and reading for it. And yeah, that's pretty much the plan. I'm gonna go for a walk at some point. I feel like I say this in every vlog now, I was gonna go like work out first thing this morning, but I am extremely sore from, what was it, Friday, Saturday? I think I did a leg workout Saturday. Oh my God. I'm so sore. And I slept 9 hours last night and woke up still sore, still tired. So we are having a slow morning. That's the update, and I will let you guys know once I get a little bit further in if I have anything else to say about this book. But I'm really, like I said, enjoying it thus far. It's just fun, low brain power, easy fantasy time, which is exactly what we needed. I just wanted to show you guys my outfit because I feel like, I don't know, I feel cute. Like Little House on the Prairie or something. I don't know. I need more long, flowy, comfortable skirts. So if anybody has any brands that they love or recommendations for that, please leave them below. I really need to go clothing shopping ASAP. Okay, super quick, hopefully, update on Shield of Sparrows. I am now 75% in, I believe. Let me check. Can't do anything one-handed. Yeah, I'm on chapter 47, which is 74% in, as you can see. And I am really liking this. Like, I liked it before, but now I am, whoa, really enjoying this. Something just happened, if you know, you know. That I actually did kind of predict right from the get-go, like right from the beginning. This thought crossed my mind of something that happens in the chapter like right before the one that I'm on, but I didn't really give it any thought. I was just like, oh, I just think that maybe this is a thing that's happening. And obviously I have to be pretty vague to not give anything away, but this thing happened and I don't know, I'm just really enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the plot. I'm enjoying where it's going. I did kind of think that the middle portion was dragging a little bit. It was getting like a little bit repetitive. Maybe some of the middle could have been cut down somehow, but even beyond that, I am enjoying this a lot. I really am enjoying the romance. It's been very slow burn. The tension is building. Like I said, the setting is really fun. The journeying, which this whole book so far has just been like a lot of journeying. That's been really fun. We're learning about a mystery with these like monsters. There's like tons of monsters in this world, and there's something going on with the monsters that they're trying to figure out. Yeah, I don't know. This book feels unique in a way, but also, like I said, kind of like classic romantasy. It's not like it's, you know, nothing that you've ever seen before, but I don't know. It's just fun. What can I say? So yeah, I am really enjoying this. I don't know exactly where it's going. Like, I don't know exactly how it's gonna end, obviously, but that's probably gonna be the last update I give for this reading vlog before finishing this, since, like I said, I'm about 75% in, which, you know, I only have this like tiny little part here. So the plan is to read some more tonight. I'm also filming a day in my life vlog today, so that's why I haven't really gotten a lot of like b-roll of me actually reading, because I've been busy filming that other vlog. But that's the reading update. We are going to, what time is it? It is Tuesday at like 3:15. My workday is pretty much done. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna read some more. I've been reading outside today, and that's been great, but the bees out there are just something else. So we're going to read a little bit more, and I will have to let you guys know my final thoughts when I have finished with this. I am back with updates. It is now the next day, and I cannot remember what I last said to you guys or what I last showed you, but I have reading updates on 2 books. So we did finish Shield of Sparrows yesterday, and I ended up rating this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I didn't quite get, not like super obsessed with it. I didn't get like a 5-star feeling or anything like that, but I do think it's fun. I do recommend it if you're a fan of romantasy and classic romantasy tropes such as enemies to lovers, monsters and magic, gods, all of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of journeying, like I mentioned in this, a lot of horseback journeys and going from place to place, going from land to land, town to town, all these different like journeys, right? Like that's basically the entire story. And so if you like that, I think you'll like this. I did enjoy that part of it for sure. But I will say that somewhere along the middle, I did feel like it was maybe a little repetitive, maybe a little bit, you know, longer than it needed to be. So, but with that being said, I still really enjoyed this. There was never a time when I felt distracted by other things while reading this. Like I pretty much bopped along the whole time. It was easy to read. And that's usually all I want from a fantasy, right? Like I want to be able to be engrossed in the story and fly through it. I don't want to feel like it's hard work. There were times where there was twists and turns and like reveals, and I was sometimes confused. I don't know if it was because of plot holes. Again, I'm not like the kind of person to look for plot holes, so I don't know that they were necessarily plot holes or if I just wasn't grasping it or what. There was just a couple things at the end that I think were a little bit unexplained, but it wasn't enough to take away from the enjoyment of this. I kind of just like didn't dwell on those things and just continued to enjoy this. So the romance was fun. It is more of a slow burn. It's not like the slowest burn, but the slow burn aspect is still there. I enjoyed the relationship development between our two love interests. And yeah, I really liked also the vibe of like the setting and the monsters and stuff. Like there's these monsters that have resemblances to animals in real life. For example, there's grizzers, which clearly comes from like grizzly bear, but they're like these really large monstrous creatures who are way bigger than just like a regular bear and seem to have like magic abilities almost. And I don't know, I just thought that aspect was kind of fun and unique. So yeah, overall, great time, great fun little spicy romantasy. I wouldn't say there's like a lot of spice. You get like towards the end, you get maybe like a couple scenes. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't say this is anything like crazy. There's nothing like super crazy going on here, but it's just a fun romantasy time. I can't string a sentence together about this anymore because I have started our next book and I am completely absorbed in it. And that is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I just started this morning and I'm already almost 70 pages in. I'm flying right through, as I do with any Ali Hazelwood book. I'm on chapter 8 and the story is getting set up. The relationship between, again, our love interest and our female main character we're getting some background. And I kind of love how, even though this is age gap, it's not like, again, not very far into this. I'm kind of loving though how it's not like they have, like, from what I'm gathering, it doesn't seem like they have actual history together. They were never actually together, but like she has this huge crush on him. He seems to be wanting to keep her at arm's length because of the age difference. He's kind of seems like he views her like she's a child and she's very upset by that. So I'm really interested to see. I think this is going to be high tension. Also, Connor, the MMC, happens to be Eli, brother's, best friend. So there's brother's best friend. You've got that. This setting is also at a wedding. Like they travel for a destination wedding, and it's in, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Taormina, Italy. And the way that the scenery is described, I can really feel it. I can picture it. It sounds absolutely beautiful. And I don't know, I'm loving the imagery. It's just like a typical Ali Hazelwood book where the writing is so witty and fresh and like so smart. I say this every single time I read an Ali Hazelwood book, but she is freaking smart. Like, oh my God. Some of the references are sometimes, over my head, but it doesn't take away from the enjoyment and the funny banter and all of that. So anyway, not very far in yet. All we've gotten is that they have gotten to Italy for her brother, Maya's brother, Eli's wedding. And that's another thing I love about this. We see Eli, obviously, in Not in Love, Eli and Rue, and they're in this because this book is following their wedding. And I just love when authors have kind of, I don't even call these interconnected standalones, but like they have a world where every single book is kind of in the same world and you'll see some of previous characters. It just makes the connection so much deeper, so much more fun. So I'm already obsessed with this, and for good reason. I feel like so many people who I've seen already reading this have been absolutely obsessed with it, and I can see why. I'm already getting that like giddy, excited feeling. I don't know, there's just something about an Ali Hazelwood book that will do it for me every single time. I love that Connor is Irish. I've been trying to like do the Irish accent in my head. Don't know how accurately I've been portraying that in my head, but He is Irish. He's much older than her. I think she said basically like 15 years, which that's a definite age gap. But I think that, like, I wouldn't say age gap is like my favorite trope or anything, but I think when it's done well, it can be really good. So I am very excited to read more of this. It is Wednesday at like 8, so I need to go make some breakfast. My sister-in-law is going to be here in a few hours. We're going to go for a walk and hang out, so I need to go get some work done. But I will be pining for this book and excited to read more as soon as possible. It's also a beautiful day out. It's like, it's supposed to be 87. It's sunny. It's been already beautiful this morning. Like the breeze coming in and the sun rays streaming through while I'm reading this book has just been the absolute best time ever. I could keep going. I could keep talking about this book already. I don't know if I think it's too early to say like if I'm feeling 5-star feelings yet, but I could very easily see this going in the 5-star direction. Keep our fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm gonna go get started on my day and I will let you guys know when I have more updates on this. Okay, mini update because this book is devouring my life and I am already 172 pages in, and this, I just had to mention this didn't happen recently. It's been like quite a few pages since this happened, but it like really made me laugh. There is a moment pretty early on where, let's just call it a daddy moment, right? Where the word daddy is used, and more in like a taunting way, I would say, but oh my god, it was so good. It was so funny. It just had me like loving it. I am absolutely loving this book. The only thing that bothers me, but like it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the story, is that Connor is very, very, very focused on pushing her away, and in the way that in which he does this is by reminding her constantly of how much younger she is than him and implying it. And just, I do feel like that part's a little bit overdone, although I can see that that's going to be like a main part of the tension. And I believe that Connor is just using that as an excuse because he's scared. So he's like, you're way too young for me, like, and he's using that as like the mechanism by which he, you know, pushes her away, which granted, it is giving it great tension. And I know that when they finally do get together, it's going to be really good. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that just always in books annoys me a little bit, but pretty much at this point anything could happen in this book and I would just be like, okay, like I'm loving it that much. And dare I say, this might be another new favorite Allie Hazelwood book. I feel like this happens every time she comes out with a new book where I'm like, oh my god, new favorite. We'll see what my like ranking is by the end of this. As of right now, my top 3 Allie Hazelwoods are probably The Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, and then also Deep End, because I really did enjoy Deep End. But I can see this being right up there at the top of that list because, like I said, the setting, the banter, the tension, everything about it. I'm just eating it up. And you know what? That is classic Allie Hazelwood. So I'm gonna shut up and get back to reading because I am addicted. Also, this book is like so like perfectly floppy. I don't know if you can see that, but love. Anyway, I'm in my pajamas. I'm ready to read some more, maybe catch up on some booktube, maybe have a snack. But yeah, that's all we got going on until the next update. does look like I haven't moved from this spot, and yes, I am wearing the same pajamas, but it is now the next evening. It's been a whole 24 hours since I last spoke to the vlog, and that is because after my update yesterday, I simply devoured this book. I was just like, could not put it down, didn't want to put it down. Could have probably finished it last night, but I like had already stayed up too late past my bedtime and didn't want to be extremely exhausted today because I had a lot to do today. So it's, you know, almost 7 p.m. and I'm just now talking to you because I have been gone and doing stuff most of the day. But I did manage to, in the last couple hours, finish this book, and it's simply 5 stars. It is, because even though, and we'll get to this, there is kind of some things that kind of annoy me, I think they were meant to annoy me, and so it doesn't take away from the 5-star, because it was a 5-star feeling. I was giddy like probably towards like the first 20% of the book, like already, I mean, I was already giddy that, you know, soon into the book, and just on the edge of my seat, absolutely binging this, like I said, and that to me is a clear sign of a 5 stars, and being that it's Ali Hazelwood, one of my favorite romance authors of all time, I'm not gonna get into the minutia of like, you know, trying to give it like, I don't know, like a 4.75 or something. It's just, it's a 5-star. And this is now going to be, I would say, joining the ranks of my top 5 favorite Ali Hazelwood books. Now, things that I loved about this, let's get into it. First and foremost, obviously, the romance. I loved just the tension between our two main characters was so palpable and frustrating, and like you could feel, especially Maya's frustration just like coming off of the page. Wow. Now this is, and I've already mentioned this is age gap, and it is quite an age gap by like 15 years. And see, usually I don't like it. I don't know, age gaps are one of those things where I feel like it has to be done right, and I did really enjoy this. The only thing that was kind of like bothering me a little bit was how often it was mentioned, not just by Connor, but by other people too, how young Maya is, or like they would be like referencing her and saying like she's like childish, or like, and I know that some of it was in a joking manner, but it still was like rubbing me the wrong way. And I think, again, I think that was the point, because it makes you really, like, you are Maya, like you're in her head and you just feel her emotions, I feel like. So that's why that did not deter me from rating this a 5 stars. But yeah, overall, I loved the romance. It was quite a slow build up, but you do get little chunks throughout, like spread, but you don't get any real resolution till the end. And it is a bit of a past and present timeline. The second biggest thing I loved about this book was the setting. I think I mentioned that it's set in Italy. They're there for a wedding, and I think the town or the city or whatever is called Taormina. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's in Sicily. The setting was so beautiful, so lush. I felt like a movie in my head. Like I could really picture the setting, and I was just so here for the vibes. I was really just vibing with this book, you know? Makes me want to go back to Italy. I've been there once. I would love to go again. The character cameos that we get of like Eli and Rue, again, because they're there for their wedding, was so good. I just had so much fun with this. Like, it was just so fun. It was perfect. Well, besides the things annoying me. But I don't even care, because I loved Connor so much. Also, him being Irish and me trying to like do the Irish accent in my head just gives it that little like extra something. Go read this book. I think if you like Brother's Best Friend, I forgot to mention that. If you like that, or age gap even a little bit, I think that you would like this book, because it was really good. But anyway, that is book 2 of this vlog complete. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be picking up yet. Definitely want to read a fantasy, I think. And I'm toying with the idea of reading Sword of Kaigen next, because that is on my June TBR. But she's a chunker. But I don't think I'm going to be starting a new book tonight, because it is already like 7 p.m. So I think I'm going to catch up on some booktube. I'll get back to you guys when I select the next book that we're going to be reading. Good morning. I swear to you guys, I do sometimes take my pajamas off and put real clothes on. But it just seems like lately the only times that I have to talk to you guys is at night when I'm in my pajamas and then in the morning when I'm in my pajamas. So it is the next morning, and you know how last time I talked to you I said that I was not going to pick up another book immediately last night? Well, I got the urge and I picked up, as you saw already, Sword of Kaigen, and I'm in it. I am already hooked. I'm like, I don't even know, 80 pages in now? Yeah, just about 80 pages in, chapter 5, and this is so good and so different than anything I've really ever read before. And I don't know if that's just because it's not like romance based, but I'm really liking this. Like, this feels super refreshing. It was a little confusing at first because there's a lot of characters with very similar names, lots of history in different places and all of that, but I'm actually finding it not all that confusing. I don't know how to explain it. My brain is somehow wrapping around this and I'm really loving it. I think it's because even though there's lots of places, lots of characters, the writing is still fairly like simple and easy to grasp. But this book follows a young boy named Mamoru and his mother, Misaki. And she, from what I know from the back, used to be this great warrior, and now she's a mother. I think she has like, I don't know, like 4 kids. And you can tell, she hasn't like outright come out and like said anything yet, but you can tell there are like little hints of times where she is very much missing her past, reminiscing on it. Yeah, there's that aspect of it. And then there's her son, like I said, Mamoru, who is in this academy to train as a warrior. And he's still pretty young, but he has the like water power. They're called Theonites. And I think for the water powers, it's called like Jijaki. I might be butchering this, I don't know. But he has water powers, and so he's training those with this sensei in this like warrior academy. And then he meets this boy who is from the city and is challenging all of his beliefs, everything that he thought he knew, because where he lives is very much secluded, sequestered. They're very like old traditional values, that kind of a thing. And now all of his beliefs are being challenged, and I can tell that this is the start of an adventure and him kind of like opening up his mind to new ideas. And there's already been like a couple of powerful quotes that I have annotated, tabbed, and dare I say, I mean, it's too early to say this is going to be a 5 stars, but I'm getting a really good feeling already about this. What did I tab? I asked him how he could say that his history was true when the next Giselle over told me a different story and claimed that his was the truth. He said, there are a million ways to tell the same story. Our job as Jazaliwu is to find the one the listener needs to hear. Out of context, that might not make any sense, but I was like, wow. This also, I feel like, applies really heavily to religion as well. So I can tell that there are profound things already being said in this book, and I think that because from what I've seen from other people and their reactions to this book, I think that this is going to be really good and also heavy-hitting. So, and then, oh, there's an altercation. Mamoru is apologizing and he says, I shouldn't have lost my temper like that. It was wrong of me. And Kwang says, was it? And then he goes, you're patriotic and loyal. You're exactly what everyone's told you to be. So he's saying, like, you don't need to be sorry. Like, you're acting exactly how you've been brought up to act, and you only know like what you know. So this is really good so far, and I'm excited. I don't know why. This happens all the time where I'm like really intimidated by something, and then I start to read it and I'm like, oh, this is actually really good. Interesting, Courtney. Interesting concept. Anyway, I'm so excited. It is Friday. I need to go have breakfast. Hubby's on his way home early from his work trip, so that's exciting. I need to go upload a video today. I'm uploading a day in my life, so that should already be up by the time this is up. And then I need to probably clean my house and do some work stuff and bebop around, be productive. So that's the plan. I think it's also supposed to rain like all day, so I probably should have like gone for a really early walk, but I just really wanted to sit and read this morning, so that's what we did. Hopefully it doesn't rain all day and I can maybe get in an outdoor walk later. Worst comes to worst, I'll walk on the old walking pad, but that's the plan. I'll let you know when I'm a little bit further in and have more to say. it ended up completely falling apart because it was like too liquidy, I don't know, but tastes good. I felt like while I actually looked cute for once and put together, that I should update you guys on a few things. You saw the banana bread travesty. It's not a complete failure because I can confirm it does taste good. It's just that it ended up very liquidy, which I guess the recipe that I used was called like super moist banana bread. But I don't know what happened. I don't know. I think I messed up the baking soda versus baking powder and like put too much baking soda in. And I have a feeling that was kind of like my downfall and like why everything kind of sunk into each other and was like super liquidy. I don't know. But it tastes good and it's very chocolatey, and so that's all that matters to me. So instead of like a piece of banana bread, I'll just have like a little bowl of banana bread. But yeah, so that was that adventure this morning, and then wanted to kind of update you guys on Sword of Kaigen. I am still absolutely loving this. I feel like the farther I get in, the more I love it. I'm on page 260, so I'm like in the middle of chapter 13, and shit is kicking off, okay? I feel like at the beginning of this, it's kind of a little bit slow. I liked it personally, but I can see why, you know, other people might think it's like a little bit slow, a little bit like telling, info dumpy, if you will, because there are a couple scenes where, for example, the history teacher is literally just naming off like dates and places and like giving the history verbatim of like these provinces or whatever. And I can see why that might, you know, slow you down and whatever. And it did a little bit for me. I just kept chugging along, and now I've been loving it the whole time, but now I'm really loving it because, like I said, some stuff is going down. And I can already tell, like, this is going to be heartbreaking. So that'll be fun. But yeah, this is reminding me a lot of like Avatar the Last Airbender, but like make it serious. And it's funny because I said that to my husband when I was explaining this book to him. And then the very first like blurb on the back of the book is the Poppy War's darkness meets the last Airbender's elemental magic. And yeah, I think the elemental magic in this is just really cool. And I think that also the fact that like Mamoru is like a young boy is also giving me Avatar the Last Airbender vibes, and that was a show that I loved as a kid. So yeah, like I said, I'm really enjoying this. I think the writing, even though this is kind of political, a little bit dense in that regard, and there's a lot of names and places to remember, like I said, even though you have those aspects that are, you know, more dense, I think the simple writing style kind of balances that out. And so I wouldn't say I'm like flying through it, but I'm reading it faster than I thought I would and understanding it better than I thought I would. There is also a glossary in the back and like a character guide and all of that. So very, very helpful when if you're finding yourself like tripped up by the names and stuff. I know a lot of people, when I mentioned this book, like tell me that they're intimidated by it, and I was too. But I would highly encourage you to pick it up, because one of the main things I'm really loving about this is that it's so different from anything else that I usually read fantasy-wise, because it's not romance-based, and so it feels really refreshing. I'm just really grateful that I finally am giving this a shot, because it's really good so far. And I've gotten some really good quotes about just life, politics, more so like your own like inner belief system. This one says, "You can learn a great deal listening to people with different experiences from your own. A Jazzalee once told me, listening never made any man dumber, but it's made a lot of people smarter." Love that quote. There was also a quote in here, again, about like surrounding yourself with people who are different from you. She's having a conversation with her friend, and he said, "I picked you because of this, because you'll fight me on things like this. You see the world in a way I just don't, and that's important to me." "Really?" Misaki tilted her head. "I would have thought you'd want to work with people who see the world the same way you do. Wasn't that what everyone wanted? A community of like minds?" And then he goes, "I think that would be a mistake. Then who would tell me when I was being stupid?" Really good quotes. Beautiful writing, beautiful setting. Can tell, like I said, it's going to be a heartbreaking story. Can't think of words, but I'm almost halfway through. I think this book is like a little over 600 pages. So if I read about 40 or so more pages, I will be at the halfway point. So I probably won't update you guys again on this until I'm most of the way, if not all the way done with this, because I can't really say much without, you know, giving things away. But I'm loving the relationship build up between Mamoru and this one boy who has different ideas than him. Again, this book is just saying a lot about like humanity and morals and politics and stuff like that, and I don't know, I find it fascinating and I'm highly enjoying this. I guess I'm gonna go put my pajamas on. I really just wanted to update you guys when I wasn't wearing pajamas because I'm like, do I have it in me to do anything on camera when I'm not in pajamas? I'm gonna go read. I come bearing updates. I was gonna do it in the other room in my reading chair, but it's so hot in here. The sun's streaming in that room and our AC is broken, so I'm dying of heat stroke. But anyway, I did finish the Sword of Kaigen. I actually finished this yesterday, but I needed time to kind of collect my thoughts because it's really hard for me to put into words what this book meant to me and like the emotions and the feelings that I had from this book. I did end up rating this a 4.75 out of 5 stars, so a really good rating. This was both devastating and beautiful. I got a lot of really great quotes that I kind of already mentioned before out of this, and at its heart this is a war story that follows a mother and son dynamic, which is really unique to me. I don't think I've ever really seen that in a fantasy, high fantasy, any kind of fantasy book really, and so that was super refreshing. I also thought that the elemental magic in this was very unique. I think I said at one point it reminded me a lot of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, if that show was a lot darker, because there are some very dark things discussed here, dark things, violent things happening, but at its core it is a story about, you know, people in a village coming together after tragedy, heartbreak and loss, and how that kind of manifests itself, the intricacies of motherhood, of friendship. I loved also how this was deeply inspired by like Japanese and Korean culture, so that was also very unique. Like I haven't read a lot of that yet, so yeah, I really loved this and I'm now very intrigued to read more by ML Wong. Like I would love to read Blood Over Brighthaven. I've heard really good things about that one too, so I think I do need to add that one to my TBR. But yeah, I highly recommend this. This was absolutely amazing, refreshing, something totally new and different. And I know a lot of people are intimidated by this book because of it being high fantasy and a little bit more dense. But I honestly wouldn't worry too much about that because a couple of things. There is a glossary in the back as well as like a character guide. And then in the front there is kind of like a list of how the different powers work, and it kind of goes through and explains what name goes with what power, etc., etc. So I do think that utilizing the guides that are provided, plus the fact that the actual writing style itself is pretty simple and straightforward to grasp, kind of weighs out the denser part of this book. And take it from me, I am someone who sometimes really struggles with dense, complicated books. Like I have to be in the mind or like the mood and mindset for that kind of a book, more of a like a thinky kind of book, right? But I highly recommend going to this like pretty much blind. Like I said, use the glossaries if you need to, because there are a lot of names and places to keep track of. But wow, I highly enjoyed this. If you have been on the fence about this or you've been putting it off on your TBR, I highly recommend you bump it up because this was absolutely stunning, amazing, everything that I wanted it to be and more. So yeah, I don't know what else I can say about this. I don't want to and I can't articulate my feelings super specifically other than wow, you should read this. Also the character development that happens in many of the characters is amazing to witness and just like so beautiful. So that one's that. And then I planned to end this video here and I think I still will. However, I did start another book last night after this one. I took a little break after I finished this and then I picked up Whiskey Business, and I did not plan on binging this the way that I did, but between last night and this morning, like I stayed up too late last night, between last night and this morning, I am now on page 308, and there's less than 400 pages in this book, so I'm literally almost done with this. I don't know what happened. safe to say I'm loving this, and I do want to kind of include at least a partial review right now because this is a TBR takedown vlog and Whiskey Business is also on my June TBR, so why not include it here. This follows April Sinclair, who comes home to this small island in Scotland, right? She comes home because she's famous, but she's career is kind of failing, at least in her eyes. And her grandfather dies. So she decides to go home to the estate, kind of recollect herself, and she gets there, and none other than Mal Macabre, I think that's how you say his name, Malcolm? His name's Malcolm, and they knew each other as children, and there's always been a little something between them. There's always been some tension, right? But Mal is very quiet, kind of grumpy, very to himself, and it turns out that a lot of that is because he has anxiety. And so the anxiety representation in this is really good, and it makes me feel really seen. I think that it's discussed in a very realistic way. Gosh, it makes the tension so good, and it makes the relationship development between these two so good because one, they have that shared, I wouldn't say history, but like they know each other, you know what I mean? So everything is a little bit deeper. There's definitely great chemistry between the two. And like I said, with him being more reserved and like, I would say kind of shy because he's like every time she flirts, he's blushing. I love a book where the MMC is like blushing, but then also once she kind of cracks through his hard exterior, he is also he's got a dirty mouth. I love something about that combination is just perfect. I don't know, this is great. I'm absolutely loving this. I can foresee this being a high 4-star rating. I don't know if it'll be 5 stars, but I really am enjoying this. I like the setting. I like the side characters. I love obviously, like I said, the relationship development between the two. I think that the spice that we've gotten has been well done and makes sense because you do get some build up. I don't really like romance books where like the characters get together right away and they like each other right away and that kind of a thing. I like when it's more like drawn out, and this has definitely been perfect. And it's also like the perfect size of a romance book, in my opinion, being under 400 pages. So I also recommend this one. Again, I only have, I don't even know, 50 pages left, so I do feel pretty confident in kind of reviewing this early. I don't foresee my rating changing unless something crazy happens at the end. And if it does, you know, I'll let you know in future videos. But yeah, I think I am gonna end this here because now we have read, let me go get them. Like I was saying, we now have read pretty much 4 books off of my June TBR in this video. So this has been a very successful TBR takedown for June. We started off the video with Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry, and I had a really, really good time. I think I rated this, I like already forgot. It feels like a really long time ago already that I've read this, even though it's, you know, it's only been like a week or a week and a half. I believe I gave this 4 stars. Editing Courtney just like put it on the screen, and if it's different from what I'm saying, then take what I'm writing as the truth. Anyway, Shield of Sparrows, this was a really fun romantasy, and that was like the main takeaway that I got from this. I'm not gonna like go super into depth because this video is already very long. I already kind of did my reviews for these, so in the 4-star range, very fun, recommend. Spicy romantasy. And then after that, we picked up Ali Hazelwood's new release, Problematic Summer Romance. I did give this a 5 stars, I believe, because this was absolutely amazing. Had me sweating, had me feeling all the feels. The tension between the two was amazing. I just had a really great time and completely devoured this. I would expect nothing less from an Ali Hazelwood book. This was just as charmingly funny and witty as all of her other books. It has that very quintessential Ali Hazelwood feel while also being very new. Like it felt very new as well. And it just, the setting, the Italian island setting in summer was perfect. Everything I wanted. Literally ate this up, left no crumbs. So highly recommend this as well. And then like I said, again, we just went over it, but Sword of Kaigan, 4.75 stars, amazing. Very harrowing and beautiful, and I think everyone should read this book. And then last but not least, we are finishing off this video with Whiskey Business, which I am almost finished with and will be finishing today. And I'm predicting that it's going to be star rating. Again, by the time this video is done being edited, I will know my rating, my final rating, so I'll put that here. This was a very, very successful video. And I think we now only have 2 books left on my June TBR that we picked in my June TBR video, and that is the 8th book of the Zodiac Academy series, as well as Her Night at the Museum, which is a cutie little romance book. So I am still going to be trying to read those in the month of June. We will see, but I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point, I would love to know if you've read any of these books, and if you did, what you thought of them, what you rated them, did you enjoy them? If not, what are you reading? I always love to know what you're reading. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe so you don't miss any more videos from me, and I will catch you in the next one.